Chris's fourth and long for this week. I know I have an idea of what he's going to mention because I know we've got some big movies to talk about. But Chris's fourth and long, what do you got for us?
Oh, here we go.
On a fourth and goal.
4th down and 20.
4th and 21, not the way you want to try to extend it.
I'm excited about some of these questions. Hear what you guys have to say. So, okay, I want to stick with the NFL. I know it's way too early to make these predictions, but I want to know who you think will have the biggest impact of these rookie quarterbacks. Cam Ward, Tyler Show, Jackson Dart, or Shedeur Sanders. Of those 4 quarterbacks, I want to talk about the other quarterbacks that have been in for a couple of years. We'll get to
this
them.
year.
But right now, these 4 guys this year, who might make the biggest impact?
Oh, Cam Ward. 100%
Yeah,
Cam Ward.
but
I think Jackson Dart ends up playing this year.
I think that's a little bit easier than you maybe thought that was. I definitely say Cam Ward only because he's starting and he's all they have.
Yeah, the Browns are very interesting though because their starter's like 37, 38, Joe Flacco.
Well, like what you just said, how Jackson Dart is probably going to play at the end. I think we're going to see Dylan Gabriel play and Sanders play. And I also think we're going to see Jackson Dart play.
Yeah.
So Cam Ward's the easy answer because he has no competition, first overall pick. He's kind of expected.
Yeah, but that doesn't always equate.
You're right. No, I'm not saying it does. I'm saying we're going to see him the most out of all those guys.
But will he be the biggest impact player?
That's the question that I'm saying is he has the most potential to be because of the opportunity he just already has.
He went into the best situation. Maybe not besides Jackson Dart because I think he has a very good situation as well. Giants O-line is a little shaky, but Cam Ward has a team built around him. I think me and Dawson both agreed that, the Titans are at least going to finish second in that division. I think they're going to win like 7 or 8 games, but maybe more.
And their defense is good last year, so he has a good...
I like Cam Ward.
No competition, Cam Ward, but I like Jackson Dart. The Cleveland quarterback situation is going to be fun to follow.
And I think we're all out on Tyler Show.
So so speaking of Cleveland, then, so when do you think we'll see Jackson Dart? What week?
Or Shedeur?
Shedeur first for the Browns. What week do you think we might see him start?
I don't know because of the comments that were made from the Cleveland GM recently or the owner.
Shedeur is also the only one of their quarterbacks that's not getting first team reps.
Yeah, for some reason. I don't think they wanted to draft him.
I really don't.
Quite frank, I think we'll see Dylan Gabriel before we see Sanders.
Let's pivot the conversation. Do we think Shedeur gets traded? So I saw. I think it was yesterday that the Browns obviously they have 5 total quarterbacks, including Deshaun Watson right now. So their plan before the season starts is to trade one of the 4 that's healthy. So that's Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, or Shedeur. Realistically, is it smart to have 2 rookie quarterbacks that are literally on the exact same deal right now? I think there's a possibility that one of them gets moved.
Yeah.
And so maybe this conversation could be, because Cam Ward's the obvious answer, but where does Shedeur end up? He ends up getting traded.
Yeah, especially after the comments, like I mentioned, that their GM and owner have come out and said the past couple of days. It doesn't look good. It doesn't sound like they wanted him to begin with.
No.
But they maybe viewed it as in, hey, if he comes in, does decent, looks decent in training camp, some team will need a quarterback. Some team will want him. We don't have to give too much up for him because we picked him in the 5th. It was the 5th round.
He was a 5th round pick. Yeah.
So I think the question to that is which team is going to need a quarterback that all of a sudden is like, we need him. We didn't pick him.
In a way, I kind of hope that happens because I would love to see it.
I want to see Shedeur this year. I really want to see him this year.
I want to see if he was worth the hype. I want to see it.
I do too.
Okay, another one here. Here we go. So, let's shift to quarterbacks that have been in the league 2 or 3 years. Okay, I want to know Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, Drake May, local Michael Penix here with the Falcons, and Kyler Murray. Which of those quarterbacks do you think this year is going to be like, wow?
Kyler Murray's been around for like 7 years now, but
doesn't feel like it though. He's kind of had a few years off.
He's missed.
So what the question is, what?
So which impact players? Like who's going to impact the league the most out of those 2 or 3 year starting quarterbacks right now? Like Kyler. I'm sure Dylan, you probably have something to say about Caleb. Drake May Doss is your quarterback. I mean, is this? What do you think?
So, is it like expectation to like show, or is it which one with the situation with the team they have should kind of do what Jaden Daniels did?
I think if you line these guys up at the end of the year with stats and where they finished,
Which one finished?
who's going to be finishing on the top?
Seriously, and I really think Caleb Williams with the coach that
the answer
has.
is Ben Johnson. It needs to be.
Yes. I really think it is. I mean, Jaden Daniels is going to have a good year.
He will.
Drake May we'll get into that when I talk about my Patriots. Bo Nix, I think, is also. I think it's between Bo and Caleb.
I think it is.
Because
Penix, though, like, you picked a good list.
But Penix just came out and said, we are going to be the best offense in the NFL. Penix just said that yesterday at training camp.
This is what excites, I think, all of us.
There's so many stories.
There are, because then you still have the Patrick Mahomes, and you have the Josh Allens,
the
and
guys
you have the Lamar Jacksons. And now all of a sudden you have Penix with all the talent that he has, with Bijan looking what Bijan looks like, Drake London.
Maybe they
Bo Nix playing as good as he did last year. Everyone saw that.
Yeah.
I seriously think, though, it's going to come down to... I think the biggest boomer bust, too, if he doesn't, is Caleb Williams.
Probably.
If Caleb Williams does not get 4,000 yards and, Ben Johnson, what he did with the Lions and just everything that has circled around that team and just all of it, I think Caleb Williams has the most pressure on him to be that at the end of the year. He was the best second-year quarterback.
But remember it took a year for the Lions to figure it out with their new coach,
You're right.
quarterback. Where were they like 1-16 or something the first year, and then boom?
No, they started. They were like winless. That was the year that they were on Hard Knocks. Dan Campbell's first year, they started like either 0-9 or something like that, and then they ran the table. They won like 6 or 7 out of their last 8 games. It was crazy, and they were, I think, like a game or 2 out of the playoffs. So
I remember that.
They caught fire at the end.
Yeah,
but it took them a little bit though to figure out, and you never know.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson, it may take a few weeks to figure it out.
I hope not.
In your case, hopefully.
But even if it does, it's not going to. I mean, the public and the media's. It's not. They're not going to care about that.
No, they won't.
I think Caleb has the most pressure to perform with the new coach, with all the weapons, with the running backs, with the defense, with everything. Caleb Williams has the most pressure at the end of the year.
I think Washington, so I know I've already I've given them their credit this year, and I think they'll finish second in the division. No one's beating the Eagles there probably, but Washington has the oldest roster in the league, or one of the oldest. So that, I mean, injuries happen every year.
They got pretty lucky last year to not have too many as well.
They also
which
had
led them
like
to
4 or 5 game-winning drives.
Yeah.
And I think maybe even more, and they won all of them. Like, when does that ever happen? So it's, I don't know. I think Jaden Daniels will be good, but maybe the team regresses a bit, with their age or injuries. I think Caleb or Bo Nix, honestly, Drake May could end up being, maybe they don't finish, in the same spots as those teams, but maybe Drake May is just like undeniably great. And you just don't have a roster around him totally yet.
A lot of good quarterbacks.
To win games.
So big week this week with really the last 10 days with movies. Yeah. So we all went to the premiere of Fantastic Four.
Yes.
So we saw it in the big theater, right? Did it live up to your expectations did it live up to your expectations for a Marvel film?
It wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't. I thought there were parts that were rushed. The ending, I think, was spoiler. If you haven't seen it yet, you obviously don't care.
If you haven't seen it yet, they don't care. So you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was I liked how it wasn't an origin. They gave a brief overview, so that was nice to not go through the whole thing of that, because everyone knows. The plot of kind of like, for most people who really don't know, like trying to take the kid and what the kid means, it was kind of like, why are we fighting over a baby? Like, why does this matter?
It wasn't even a real baby. It was an AI baby.
It was, no, he was, so they actually said that was a practical baby the entire movie.
What?
Swear to God, it was 2 different babies. And it was
then
a girl,
it must have been
actually.
a CGI over the top of the real baby. That didn't
for
even
like
look
the
real.
eyes, maybe, or like, but no, it was a real baby.
Now my favorite part of the movie, though, I thought the Silver Surfer, the scenes where she was like flying through and surfing through the fire and
the black hole.
I thought that was really cool.
Wasn't that Ruth from the Ozarks?
It was.
Yeah. It was. Yeah,
she's badass.
I thought that whole the action, it looked real. Their powers of him, the Elastic Man and the Johnny Storm. I thought the CGI was great. compared to what like
they worked very hard on
compared
that
to like
movie,
what Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was, it was night and day different.
Thor too.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that.
Floating kid
where
heads.
it kind of lost me was at the end, to where again we had this almighty Galactus being that eats planets, and that's how he gets his energy, comes down to Earth, and it was just like, okay, cool, now he's gone. Where I know he just got teleported to wherever they teleported him to. It seemed rushed. It seemed Sue's like ending thing, to where I know like it had a big impact because she used 100% of her power that ended up killing herself.
She's one of the strongest characters in the MCU.
So she like killed herself using her power to save, her baby and her family. That was cool, but I thought it was too long, where she was just like sitting there on the screen like for like 4 minutes, and it was like, okay, let's go. Jake,
I agree.
The worst take I've ever heard.
I'm sorry, but I watched her look at this for like 4 minutes, where I was like, okay, we get it.
I bet they ate Happy Gilmore 2
I thought that was lame.
I bet they ate it up.
I thought that was lame. So no. Stick
No,
to the
but
topic here. So Fantastic Four.
Completely
You
different
wanna know, here's the
expectations of
problem that
movie.
I
This
have.
movie was great. This movie was exactly what it needed to be to push forward the story. It was, the pacing was great. Yeah, it didn't have enough action necessarily, but he is, like you said, an all celestial being. They're not going to be able to do anything to him. And the reason that he didn't cause as much destruction when he came down is because his mission, once he came down, was no longer to end Earth. He saw a end to his suffering, the kid. And so he literally just strolling through, did whatever the hell he wanted. They were not able to stop him. And ironically, they weren't even the ones that beat him. Silver Surfer sacrificed herself and pushed him into the portal because that wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
And so all that, I think it was a great dynamic. All of the characters felt important. Very important. None of them kind of slacked off to the back. All of them had their moments. Even Johnny Storm, you were able to see like, damn, he's actually smart as hell.
I said it to you about
Smart as
Johnny
hell.
Storm,
Yes.
where I was like, he wasn't just the stupid uncle
Yeah,
that
he
was
wasn't
just like,
comedic
I can
relief.
go on fire.
Nope.
He figured out the language. He
Yeah.
did. So I was all for. I'm not saying that it was a bad movie.
Yeah.
I'm saying that there were some parts that I just felt were a little rushed and a little. I think the ending credit scene kind of carried it a little bit, to where I said it to you when we walked out. It almost feels like every Marvel movie that we've seen the past couple times, it's like, well, this is setting up this.
Yep.
And this is setting where it's like every time we walk out, we look at it and go, well, that just set up that.
You wanna
To where it just seems like a bunch of alley-oops, and we're just waiting for
Are we
the
ever going to
slam
get to
dunk.
the end?
No,
Probably not.
what I think they did a good job of, and ironically, Trey Parker and Matt Stone have this. They teach like college courses. The creators of South Park have this philosophy about storytelling. The way to tell a good story is this happens, therefore this happens. It cannot be this happens and then this and then this and then this. It has to directly affect things. And I think they did a great job of doing that in the movie. And it was linear. It felt complete. It wasn't Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, where it was like, oh, they're over here. Oh, now they're over here. Oh, we're at the finale now. Hopefully you guys were able to catch up for the hour and 45 minutes that I think the movie ended up being. I thought it was good. And I think it shows that they're finally giving a shit about production and finishing a completed movie. Like we said, the graphics, the CGI was great.
It's the best it's been since in a
All
while.
4 actors were great, I think, too. They played their parts fantastic. I thought Galactus was menacing. His voice, crazy. And they didn't kill him, so he's still out there. But I think this movie was exactly what it needed to be. I think it captivated audiences in the right ways. It, kind of poked at your heartstrings with some of the storylines. But I thought overall it made me excited for Spider-Man that comes next, and then Doomsday, hopefully.
So I heard someone talking about Doomsday, and he said the perspective that everyone is having on Doomsday is completely wrong. Everyone's perspective on going into Doomsday is it's going to be an Avengers Infinity War,
That's
an
Secret
Avengers
Wars.
Endgame.
That's what Secret Wars is going to be.
But hear me. This is what he said. He said, instead of thinking it as like the end goal of what Endgame and Infinity War was leading up to it, think of it as like the start, like the Avengers, where they're bringing these characters together to then have you care, not not rushing to the end and making you want to care about it when it's the doomsday and that's what it's called. Looking at as this is the start of combining the old characters we already know, combining some of the new characters that they're trying to get us to care about, and start like the new, it's not the end. No. It's the new beginning. And people are so when you look at it that way and kind of flip-flop it, instead of looking at it as in the end, look at it as in this is a new beginning for all these characters to first come together, the same way that Avengers was the first time we saw Tony Stark with Thor and with all those, where that is what people are saying, and I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I think it could be. And so on top of it, Franklin is so important because he's literally God in the MCU. Like, he makes universes just for fun.
And most people, I don't think, really were able to didn't know that.
Well, you won't, and it's they kind of alluded to it, but you can't really say that's what he does when the people in the story don't even know. Yeah. Like, that has to be something that happens in Secret Wars. That's the end of the Secret War comic or storyline. You may know this, Jake. Ends with him creating a new universe for everyone that is peaceful and stuff like that. Okay. And so it needed to be like this. It needed to be this way. Okay. It was an origin story for Franklin.
I love the theory of how Stark is Robert Downey Jr. is only Iron Man in that one universe. So that's why the Russo brothers say this is the guy who can play Doctor
Doom. Interesting.
And so everyone in the
seen another variant of Iron Man.
Yeah.
That's true. So what Jake just said, if the mic didn't pick up all of it, he basically thinks and agrees with the take that Robert Downey Jr. is only Iron Man in the MCU's timeline, since we've never seen anything other than him in that. Never another Iron Man. I guess maybe in What If, but I don't think that's necessarily canon.
No, those are like spin-offs too.
But the thing is that he's Von Doom, like Doctor Doom in every other universe. So when I think that's a cool, I never thought about that.
When all these characters collide from all their different universes, they all see this almighty Tony Stark that everyone, idolized because he saved the world from Thanos. Everyone else sees him as, no, that's Victor Von Doom. He's not.
Well, I guarantee you, a trope in the seeing Doom and oh my gosh, it's Tony Stark.
Yeah,
that's the only reason.
Yeah. No, that's a really good take.
That would be very interesting if they end up doing it like that.
Which makes sense to maybe why they said there's one person that can do this.
Yeah, Chris, what did you think about the end cutscene, the middle one with Doom? Did that catch you off guard? Or were you kind of expecting that?
It was all good, other than I won't say who Dawson and Jake's mom thought that was, but that's okay. So I think she
it was.
Some people looking around saying, "Was that Darth Vader?" So that was pretty funny. So listen, okay, let's change gears here. So I want to talk about one more thing before we get to the next subject. So midnight premieres. It used to be that midnight premieres were at 12:05. Okay, at night you had to stay up late. Now premieres are the day of. Like, you can go to the matinee on Thursday. Yeah. You can, we walked out of that theater. I think we went to the 6 or 7 o'clock show.
We were done at like 9:30.
About midnight? Should it be like, I love the midnight premieres. It used to be like you couldn't release a movie before midnight. And now they're releasing this stuff almost a full day before. I just think it takes away from some of the fun.
It takes away from the fun a little bit.
I agree. Because then, like, it's the only showing that night for the most part, and it's like you have
everybody
line
comes
of
out.
people, you got people that are dressed
the
up,
energy, the excitement.
like that.
Okay, so speaking of a movie that didn't have a midnight premiere,
Happy Gilmore.
There's another movie that came out last week, and that was Happy Gilmore 2. Now,
you guys
Happy
are about
Gilmore
to praise
2,
this movie after
Happy
shitting
Gilmore
on a
2
good Fantastic Four
is now the largest opening for Netflix ever.
Is it really?
Yeah, 46 some odd.
46.7 million views in 3 days. It is number 1 ever. So
I guess
I will say I
made.
love the movie. I love this movie. It was nostalgic. I thought the script was fun, and I only say I loved it because I laughed all the way through.
It was
hysterically
funny.
through the whole
funny.
movie.
So
it was great.
So look, first off,
fun.
I think this movie would have done great in theaters.
Oh, it would have been dynamite.
I think it would have done great in theaters.
I wonder why they
and the whole community of a movie theater, everyone watching this together.
Oh, it would have
the
been
environment would have been awesome.
Oh, geez. It would have been great.
Second thing,
'Cause everyone's seen that
I'm not
movie.
going to sit here and say this is an amazing movie. It was a mess.
Good.
But going
you.
into it, the expectations that everyone should have had for this movie is it was going to be nostalgic and it was going to be stupid funny with a shit ton of cameos.
I think what hurt it is that the first half of the movie was so damn good. And then the back half of the movie is just like a clusterfuck of cameos and like just, oh, hey, this isn't golf anymore, which I thought we said before the show, it would have worked perfectly if they had just committed to completely making fun of LIV and then the TGL.
It kind of did,
like they
but
tried to.
Yeah.
But they went a little bit too far off board with like, oh, genetically engineered, like Happy Gilmore's, you sever their hip bone and they can hit it 700 yards.
Yeah.
I think you could have done something a little bit more realistic that would have been just as funny.
Yeah.
Because I liked the Shooter McGavin entrance and I loved the first half of the movie, but I slowly started to fall off as like more and more outrageous shit. And then at the end, you get a green that is spinning 360
That was
degrees
making fun
for
of
only
TGL,
Happy.
wasn't it?
It was.
That
but
kind of was.
It was. It actually. And then I didn't think about that at first. So like that part I get, but at the same time, it's like the villain of the whole thing was just like you made him comedic relief, and it's like he could have been like way more serious. Like actually, I don't know. It was the first half of the movie is what made the second half so disappointing for me because it had a lot of build up, and I was like, oh man, this is actually good.
Yeah, and look, again, I'm not going to say it was an amazing movie. It
just was funny.
It did the job. It was funny. It was nostalgic.
Yeah.
It was a stupid
Good callbacks
comedy.
to people.
Yeah, and you know, my favorite character, honestly, was John Daly, being the old grandpa
John.
that lived in the
That
in the
was so
garage.
funny.
He was
That
funny.
was perfect character choice.
Well, and then even like non-golf people, like your mom, like
They had no Haley.
she didn't even know who that was.
And we were watching it, and as soon as he showed up, I immediately was like,
like, oh my
I
God.
started laughing, and she was like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "You just don't get it.
Oh,
It doesn't
yeah.
make
It's
sense
so
to
funny.
you why it's so funny." So
Yeah.
yes, I do agree with you on
Yeah.
that. To where some people they just
there was a
didn't
lot
know.
over. If you didn't know golf, there were a few things went over your head. I posted, what somebody else posted. Stupid, cheesy, fueled by, crazy cameos. But I laughed the entire time, and I 100%
I did
agree
too.
with that.
I
It was funny.
laughed.
It
It
was
was
funny.
just there were moments in the back
was
half of the
Happy
movie
Gilmore.
where I didn't laugh, and I was just like, like,
I
come
agree.
on.
No, I agree.
But I thought it was
Okay.
good, and
Okay.
I thought it could have been a lot better after watching the first like hour of the movie. I was like, damn, like good shit, Adam.
Okay, so last topic for fourth and long. So I know we mentioned the Braves a little bit ago.
Can I say
the
something
Braves.
before you finish?
Yeah, go
And
ahead.
how I said they were heading into White Sox territory. Y'all have 6 more wins than us.
Yeah, but you hold on. But you could say that all you want. But
I know.
Okay,
It's just nice. It's nice to be in the same realm for once, you know.
that's
okay.
It's
so
warm for me.
So listen, here's what's funny is we all know Dawson is headed up, meet some college buddies. They're
Yeah.
all going up to Bristol. They've
Bristol.
got tickets, a place to stay. They're going to this game. Now they just announced last night, Acuna, right? His 10-day IL trip. He's not going to play in that game.
Dawson's gonna come back
There's
with a bullet
16
hole.
games under 500. The worst July this team has had since 1993. We are so cooked. We are so done. The trade
93
deadline is
is-
tomorrow, I believe. Is that right? Trade deadline, I think, is tomorrow.
it's the end of July, so yeah.
yeah.
So it's
31st?
just what a hot. But you could not have predicted the injuries that we've had.
No, it's really unlucky.
look,
and
look,
it's
look.
bad.
This is what I'm gonna do. I bought my ticket. We bought a place to stay.
Get some merch.
I'm gonna go buy a hat,
Their hats are lame.
buy some beer, buy Jake a shirt,
You better buy me a shirt.
and I'm gonna enjoy a nice baseball game in Bristol Speedway and not
If
give
they-
a flying crap.
If they don't have any Wonder Bread merch
so
there, I'm gonna be so
they've
upset.
started to release
They
it.
need to.
They've started
so
to release
funny.
some stuff, and what makes me mad is the catcher gear
Looks
for
cool. I
like the
saw it,
catchers
yeah.
is kind of Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my, like no way they release merch.
Maybe they're
that is like
hiding
that.
it.
I hope they,
They
are.
might be. They might
They've
be.
released some
That'd
of
be
it
awesome.
online already to purchase, and none of it is like the Wonder Bread, like Talladega Nights. And I was a little disappointed.
What's wrong with their marketing
I'm
team?
hoping they might be hiding it though.
I think
that'd be
should.
cool.
Like, there's how do you miss this
Probably not,
opportunity?
but I hope they are. But anyway, that's the plan. I'm gonna buy some beer. I'm going to wear my jersey as proudly as I can.
I'm sure the
And I'm
league,
gonna
though,
enjoy
when
it.
they picked this game, when they decided to do this, this was not what they
Well,
hoped.
you think about it, though, where Bristol is and the two closest teams to who play
is.
are, the Reds and the Braves to get as many people as they can to
Where
go.
is Bristol?
It's like right in the middle. It's in Tennessee. It's like
it's in
it's
Tennessee.
literally
Okay.
like if you cut
There aren't any
Well,
other.
Bristol Motor
if you
Speedway.
took where the Reds play and where Atlanta plays, I think
They're
it's
like
like
dead in the middle.
right in the middle.
Okay.
Which why they picked those two teams, which makes sense. It's going to be fun though. The guys that we're going with haven't seen in a hot while, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm not really, my expectations for the baseball game aren't very high. Strider's pitching, which will be cool to watch him pitch,
Yeah.
but I'm just going to go enjoy it, have fun, not stress about the game too much. So
Yeah.
yes, it will be fun.
Hey, no,
It
it'll
does
be
suck
cool.
though because like Dylan kind of just mentioned, we're only 6 games. We have only 6 more wins than his White Sox, and that says a lot.
White Sox
Who'da
39 and 66, Braves 45 and 61.
So
Unbelievable.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. All the injuries, you can't predict it. It seems
No.
like we sold our soul for the World Series,
It's
and now
bad.
we've just it always
It's
happens
rough.
in baseball. I'm gonna enjoy the game. That's what I'm gonna do.
Dude, the Brewers.
Okay. Well, that's it, guys. That's all I got for you this week.
Nice job. Good questions.
Very nice.
All right.
Good conversation.